Why and what was the motivation for the CEO, Mustapha Hamid, to just sign or single-handedly sign such a contract worth almost close to $300 million? What will make him do that?
I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue them. Wallah, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our
Mustapha Hamid. Yeah, part one and there, a dangerous thing. Mr. Mustapha Hamid is the craziest criminal in Ghana. Ma catch them. Mr. Mozambique and Koda Fufuso can about that so. Mena me catch them. Oh yeah, and what makes me not to like this guy is or the religion and the politics and I'm a tiny.
We need to rescue them. Wallah, inshallah. Wallah, inshallah. Wallah, inshallah.
He's a criminal, and I'm going to prove to you. Saying this horn, it's time for pound, and your scandal be I also a year NPA Mustapha Hamid. In fact, let me pull people out. Now, may part one and there a dangerous thing. Mr. Mustapha Hamid is the craziest criminal in Ghana. Ma catch them. Mr. Mozambique and Koda Fufuso can about that so. Mena me catch them. Oh yeah, and what makes me not to like this guy is or the religion and the politics and I'm a tiny. He's a criminal, and I'm going to prove to you, sir, our any counter be out of Ofambra Monday. Asma me be catch them when no Jubilee House enim Mustapha Hamid enim guy be a friend Jake Amwa onusu metch omunyina picture wa ha na Mustapha Hamid e bokro no bia ya maye ni anya dia say special prosecutor and make sure say Mustapha ya investigate way because Mustapha no matter what abides the sound be jail. Erade me say Mustapha Hamid no matter what no matter what happens abides the sound Mustapha Hamid will have to go to jail because Oti MPA and now what done MPA I'm trying to get somebody out. And now what done MPA in the property and Mustapha Hamid is stealing. He has neglected the process. The board has been neglected. NPA, procurement department, they have been neglected. NPA, Mustapha Hamid in the history of NPA has created 2 positions, deputy CEOs, because he created a shield that will not stop him from stealing. As Ghanaians, these things are very important. First, me scandal na me di bibia bremo na enkwasiafo we ni Joy News for omne Paul Adomoche kwasiampanyi no omne kwa Mustapha kan jot ni no kweku ba ko nkwasiafo no omne sa emmoa no mgu Angel FM KT sa nkwasiafo no na oba betena ho anopa unya beifo te se ekua pocket so betena Maryland anka hanya nkonko fie wo hu sa ha de bia onya bibia otifie oba na hem akwan ba ro be hurada so Samfo no no mo defend you mo fa ways bi enti dia me ense me ma mo sope wa oni adin no no abeka se we meboa kwase bi tini radio so was Kevin Taylor di atem na aboa disika me nka nche nse nya me nhira no. Let's move forward. Don't cry. Sa ofu wona na to waka se han wallahi we will rescue this nation. Sa ofrija to we our agenda. Sana ofrija towe or agenda obewieska zongo broni ofri. They have neglected their people. Imrebi omde dogo yaro bitinti bi ono so friend Mustapha Hamid kwasia ewia ban musika de man call scholarships call Russia so de kusua oil so de and the omunyina te eye Ghana oil so Ghana gas sa kwasia tinti bi friend Mustapha Hamid ono so we jimie omo no omo be defend pepe e defend zongos no omo de omo kwasia etwa eye zongo fo ntro. That boy, I'll get his picture and show you. We are buying sika. You say scholarship. Kwasia. Na nom di Mustapha Hamid echi. Ono se friend Mustapha Hamid. I'll get you that boy's picture. Now, mommy andu anye edwuma no. Muntie me ye pa. Meye ni chi. I am going to speak in chi for you to understand the gravity of the corruption Mustapha Hamid is involved in. Mokai said a few months ago, I talked about a story. Mustapha Hamid was promoting 2 people to become bosses ahead of their directors at MPA. I did that story here. The whole media in Ghana, everybody kept quiet. Mustapha Hamid has become this guy. Some guy at the MPA called a year. What's his name? I'll get you his name. Amwa. Yes. Mamen Chamo. Now, this guy. Come on, Mihiamo. Mustapha Hamid in Onye. He is the boss of NPA. Petrol, diesel, I want Ghana and Yinano, on a shannon, Wallahi, Pepe ni boy, we. Oka bibi anakofa kurana samaba. Oka kronu bi anakofa kurana samaba. We muna omo gangi tia mahama. Se omo dia omo ye kron sikawia de omo ye bi da. Omo ye honest people omo di Quran. Abompaye, they will never steal from Ghanaians. This guy. The name sa abewa chimkwine. I dislike him because he always uses Quran to do politics. And he pass on where time. Sao Frija Towe and they on the head MPA. Me catch them say these are not people we should trust. Now there is another person, your friend Jake Amwa. We ena use Mustapha Hamid our MPA officer. Jake Amwa we no Mustapha Hamid recently promoted him. What can I say about story be? To become the boss of Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund. UPPF. Mustapha Hamid elevated guy with. This guy has been at the NPA for a long time, or a hardened criminal. Go to the police CID office. He has a case there. Investigations about this guy, Jake Amwa. Or dangerous. And he's one person using Mustapha Hamid. Mustapha Hamid too is greedy. So they are basically trying and they have been stealing from us. Go to the police CID office. Nebusa said, who is Jake Amwa? 2017. You didn't call CID office for a serious investigations to be done on him concerning MPA building. Mumusa a yes CID board said, what has happened to this case about this guy called Jake Amwa? What I'm about to tell you, the whole MPA boss, my source is on the board. The board is even scared. You know why? Because what Mustapha Hamid and this Jake Amwa are doing, later, some people even on the board go to jail. So the board source called me and said, this is dangerous. I know you are following this story, but I want to help. Because what I am seeing here, they are getting some of the money. They don't care. They all know. 99% of board voting him. He knows about this deal. So when I was working on this, and my source also came and said, I want to give you some information. So thank you. Because I have followed Mustapha Hamid to Texas. I followed this Mustapha Hamid guy to Texas. Why did I follow him to Texas? Because Mustapha Hamid had an agenda. Oko Texas recently. Dallas. Okoya DB oho. At the blind side of everybody. Free Oba and Obey Salah party no Mokai. He was in Texas. Or didn't he 10 in a coy? Jake Amwa we no count. Now let's move on. Maybe some church na Ghana for TSC. I'm not going to do too much English. I will try and let you understand. Part 1 in Chemu Bibi. See, today a letter was presented. Don't do this. A letter was presented to the special prosecutor. And what is that letter? I mean, read the letter no. Now, and it'll be the basis of our expose tonight. The Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, 6 Hill Salasi Avenue, blah, 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 blah. Data, Eshono. You can see it down there, 27th May 2022. Stamp from the Special Prosecutor's Office. This petition has been accepted by the Special Prosecutor. Journalist or Ghana or say Mebuano Monday Uncle Special Prosecutor's Office and ask for this document and say what is in there. Is it true that somebody has petitioned the Special Prosecutor on this matter? So you can see there, and the person who petitioned is Elikem Kotoko. Now, let me read what is in it, because as we speak, it's on the desk of the Special Prosecutor. Investigations has to open right now. He cannot tell Ghanaians he's not going to open investigations into this. Who read the letter? What is in them? I mean, reading them church the kakra. Petition: procurement breaches on the renewal of contract between the National Petroleum Authority and Mesa Nationwide Technologies Limited. Technology Partners Authentics. Company na ewo Ghana na friend no Nationwide Technologies Limited. Omo international partners no ye from Authentics. Yes. Now, this is what the petition says. Let me zoom in for you people. I'm going to read it so that you can follow. I don't need to zoom in that much. After this show, we will publish this on Loud Silence Media website, loudsilencenews.com, on our Facebook, all platforms. Send a journalist here for Jimmy Fono. They can get access to it and then also go ask questions. I write to petition your office to investigate the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, on procurement infractions surrounding the contract renewal under National Fuel Marking Scheme. Now, National Fuel Marking Scheme, now I'll come back and explain to you. Entered between the National Petroleum Authority and Mesa Nationwide Technologies Limited and its technology partners, Authentics. The procurement process surrounding such renewal is very clear, and I am convinced that the authority, under watch of its current chief executive, Dr. Mustapha Hamid, failed to follow due process in renewing the said contract. Due process is a word that is very, very important. Due process, and a year ABAJ did not follow. And the original court, no. Due process is very important. So keep that word too in your head. Any markings, no, petroleum markings. All right. The process, as we know on such matters, are the authority having decided to renew the said contract will undertake the following. Into contract, no, as the boss of MPA, no, answer our best sign contract, piano, your procedure. I was say we are then udiso process, and sana u go through that process. Now we exhaust the process now, and sana wait to me I say the MPA, you being the boss, no, renew a contract with a current existing company or a new company. So those things are default. Bronica's a defaulter. You can't bypass those process and go sign a contract with another company or existing company you are even having contract with, or the contract is about to expire. You can only sign a contract with another company as the MPA boss by making sure you exhaust or you go through this process, and sana you get the nod. Now, what are the procedure or process? A, that the decision to renew the said contract should have been discussed at the UPPF Management Committee for approval. Now, the person I showed his face, a friend of Jake Amwano, on recently Mustapha Hamid promoting the handle a UPPF, which is also known as the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund. Inti Sir Jake Amwana mekan asem sisiano on na recently Mustapha Hamid moving to call UPPF. Now the procedure is you need UPPF to do what? Grant, or you should discuss it with them, their committee, before the approval can go on. That is one. Two, remember Jake Amwano, he's part of this deal. Also at the head of UPPF. Recently na Mustapha Hamid moving back top one. B, from there, so a process I also follow. It follows a sequence. We have UPPF committee meeting for them to say, okay, we approve her. Then you move to the next one, which is from there, it should have gone to the OARS for discussion and approval. Now, that is another step. I will say you need to go. And sana we move work, you're getting close to closing a deal or renewing a contract. The C, I say, then the procurement department under the board will memo to approve the said renewal, follow it up in writing to the Central Tender Review Committee of the National Petroleum Authority for approval. It says then the procurement department under the board So the board of NPA, they have a procurement department. Now, from that second one, you go to the procurement department under the board to approve the said renewal. Now, after that, you follow up in writing to where? To the Central Tender Review Committee, where we board, department, which is procurement department, you still have to write to the Central Tender Review Committee of the National Petroleum Authority for approval. So far, you need 3 approvals. And the law says you need to exhaust all of this process before you can renew a contract with any company. D. Now, when you go to the next paragraph, it is only when the above process had been exhausted that the CEO, through the legal department, will commence any renewal process to re-engage Nationwide Technologies. So, until these processes are exhausted to the fullest, the NPA cannot go ahead and renew any contract. That's it. You don't have to argue about this. It is straightforward. Until these 3 processes, going to the board, procurement department, making sure that UPPF management committee has approved, making sure, say, you go to the OA. All these 3 processes needs to be exhausted fully before the boss of NPA, Mustapha Hamid, can put his signature on a document and say, I have renewed a contract. Now, as it stands, the above process have been violated. And I write to request your office to initiate a full-scale investigation to be conducted and the culprits punished. God bless our homeland, Ghana. It was received by the Special Prosecutor's Office, stamped, and that is his unique stamp. It is on record. This is the receipt. If you go there on Monday, it is there. Now, let's now go into the issue itself. Now, the issue we are talking about is a processor. You have to go to board to do what? To get approval. So in all, Mustapha Hamid needs the approval of the board to renew a contract. You don't make it complicated for yourself. Simple as that. Mustapha Hamid needs the approval of the board. The procurement department of the board, whatever of the board. When the board finally said you have the green light from UPP, it all falls under the board. UPPF, the basic thing making I say Mustapha Hamid here board no approval. Now, as we speak, the board never had a clue of this renewal. Now, see this. When we say procurement, when there was a statement, and because this is what we call fuel marking. Now, there's a company, a friend of National Nationwide Technologies, almost our contract, to make sure say fuel marking on my year. Now, Obibu say, what is fuel marking? It is there. Let me read what fuel marking is. Now, let's read it. Fuel marking is the introduction of a unique identifier, that is biochemical liquid, in trace quantities into petroleum products as fuel depots before distribution to the market. The marker creates a fingerprint, basically a unique fingerprint or unique code, and provides a secure, tamper-proof method of authentication. Marked fuel can be distinguished from unmarked fuel, though through a process of testing using specialized detecting equipment. Into your case, fuel marking, there's a company omo depot fuel be a Ghana be omo chemical be omo di som na omo the quality of the fuel na yebeton wo Ghana market no, and every fuel be a Ghana system ni mu no, the moment you did sa chemical no be so mu no, you will know say it is different from a fuel that has not gone through the process. It is a unique way of making sure say the fuel and diesel in the system no is purified to the point where it is not hazardous or it does not destroy a mechanical equipment. Into a fuel what problem, and I say boca fuel a unique fuel a tested and saneba system. So this company has the right to do that job. That is the contract we as a country we have given them. I'm gonna test it and show the legitimacy of fuel our system. So when it goes through this, the chemical nuguma I'm gonna legit. So be the fuel for be a bar. Anything sometimes you see MPA4 to go around fuel stations to test the fuel no more tono. Say if this fuel does not pass that test, because every fuel be also chemical no. Who said this fuel did not pass through a fuel marking process and that this fuel should not be sold in the market. So ote fuel marking a company na me bo mudino Nationwide Technologies no partners are broaching from Authentics na was our contract no. Now the issue is the contract has expired. The contract they have with the Ghana government it has expired. If you want to know more about this company, when you Google, you see them, Nationwide Technologies Limited. You will see everything. Now, what I want to tell you is simple. In April 2022, Mustapha Hamid and Jake Amwa, together with about 8 people, went to Dallas, Texas. Now, when they went to Texas, they went to do something. When they went to Texas, they went to meet this company. You're from Authentics. Ghana company partner Ghana your friend Nationwide Technologies. Now, something happened. After they went there, they went to strike a deal. And that deal was to do what? To renew the contract of this company. Remember, sa contract we na a company we handle or Ghana every single month, Ghana government pays them over $12 million. Maybe I want it. So you have to see how dangerous this thing is. This company, the government of Ghana pays it over $12 million every month for this government. So technically, in a year, we pay this company over almost $300 million for testing fuel EBA system. Now, for such a huge money, to a company, that's a company no contractor ended. Now you person you renew the contractor. Why should the boss of NPA bypass the board to go behind the board to go and renew this contract? We are talking about over $300 million. Now, when we started following this story, we did our checks. Our source at the board tells us clearly the board has no idea about this renewal. We contacted the CTR, that the Central Tender Review Committee. They say they were never involved in the renewing of this contract of this company. The board itself, department, PPA department, they have also confirmed to us they were never contacted before this contract was renewed. So meaning say all these departments, especially the main board in Ankasano, they were sidelined, they were ignored, and Mustapha Hamid and Jake Amwa together went to US to meet these people and renew the contract. We have to be paying these people over $10 million every 30 days. in a year or annum, we are paying these people close to $300 million. Now, you will want to ask yourself, why and what was the motivation for the CEO, Mustapha Hamid, to just sign or single-handedly sign such a contract worth almost close to $300 million? What will make him do that? It's a simple question we need to be asking. Today, call the board. The board knows nothing. They were ignored. Mustapha and Jake Amwa, they pushed the board away and single-handedly. We have all the documents. That's what I'm saying. I know they will come and I'll prove to them. We are talking about over $300 million. Mustapha Hamid in Kwako signed contracts. $300 million. And this guy, Mustapha Hamid, sits in Ghana and tells us to say, yes, he is the most unique, best D&D CEO. He bypassed the board. Now, the board is so angry to the point whereby about 90% of them are like, what is happening here? In the first place, you promoted two people above their directors. We did not have an idea about. But yes, our story was Mustapha Hamid created two illegal positions. Deputy CEO positions. That lady, she did not deserve it. This Jake Amwa is the catalyst behind Mustapha Hamid's criminality. Jake Amwa or a Kronfo, and he is the one who has built this firewall. That's why recently he was promoted to head that place where the finances of the oil will be handled. Into Mustapha Hamid, in collaboration with him, they came together and said, put me here, UPPF department, because it is the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, a honor as Canada. And now we are talking about over $300 million contractor. The MPA boss has signed behind the board. Do you know, says CTR, which is the Central Tender Review Committee, is under Finance Ministry? So ask yourself, does the Finance Ministry know this? Because at the end of the day, the Accountant General, the Finance Ministry, they are going to be vomiting this money. MPA to vomit this money. The CTR, which is the Central Tender Review Committee, it falls under Finance Ministry. Who is the head of the CTR? Go and ask him if he knows about this contract. You see, so when you go to PPA, that is the Public Procurement Authority, let us go there and ask the person who is the head of PPA that do they have any documentations that Mustapha Hamid went through the process to renew this contract? Do they have any documentations that they were contacted by the NPA to renew this contract? Because we have done our checks. That's what I'm saying. I know what I have. And I want the media in Ghana to prove me wrong that this never happened. Mustapha Hamid needs to go to jail. And the most dangerous person we are talking about here, or a dangerous panel, this guy called Jake Amwa. Dangerous guy. Menoka say the case, CID boss office. He's been investigated. We are talking about $300 million. Mustapha Hamid went to Texas, Dallas, and then he took about 6 people with him, including Jake Amwa. When they came back, it was about 3 to 4 days to Salana Mudi. That is when he came to come have a party with Accra Heart of Folk. He just came to celebrate the deal he went to cut in Texas. Behind the scenes, he flew to Texas to go finalize single-handedly with his colleague, his other partner in crime, to go and single-handedly sign a $300 million contract without the board knowing, without PPA approving, without CTR approving, without anybody approving. So the Mustapha Hamid guy sitting there, let us ask him, a man has power to go and renew a contract without going through the process. Charlotte Osei was fired because Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ne MPP for say she did not follow due process. She, at the end of the day, had some procurement breaches when she was in office. And I'm ABAJ, yes, see, ABAJ did not follow procurement process. He breached the procurement process. ABAJ today, as we speak, is in court. Mustapha Hamid single-handedly has signed a $300 million contract without even the board. ABAJ Krampo there, he was talking to the board, but he had his own board partners that were doing the crime. But this guy pushed the board away, pushed CTR away, pushed PPA away, and single-handedly signed a $300 million contract in our favor, in representing us. So the question is, we have to go to PPA, Public Procurement Authority, and ask them, because I know what I have. Is there anything there to show that Mustapha Hamid actually went through the process at PPA to sign this contract? We have to also question the board, because you people know, you know something. Mustapha Hamid, if he's found guilty, every single member of the board will be held accountable. See, before I spoke about it, everybody was quiet. I'm expecting Mustapha Hamid's office, the NPA, the CTR, the PPA, the Public Procurement Authority. It's an independent body. Its job is to make sure government signing contract with private entities, the government also knows the process, and that we at the end of the day are not being taken advantage of. They have no idea. We have done our checks. We have gone into their systems. We have our documentation. Nobody can protect Mustapha Hamid. The Auditor General has a petition on his desk. He needs to open that investigation. I know he traveled today. The Auditor General traveled today. But that is sitting on his desk. And that is the petition I showed you. If you know wherever Mustapha Hamid is, and the most interesting part of this whole thing I'm talking about, and I say, the president knows about it. The Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo part, I will come and show you very soon. The Jubilee House is angry because Mustapha Hamid, at the end of the day, did something they didn't want him to do, even though the president knows about this deal. Ghanaians, let's not forget, we are talking about $300 million. This company, we are paying them almost $12 million a month. How can one person single-handedly ignore the board and sign such a contract? How can we allow this to happen in Ghana? This is the same guy telling us, wallahi, wallahi, we will rescue the nation. He is a thief. I'm giving you this for now because what I have now, I need to keep it to my chest. Because I know they will have some fools trying to come and do comedies. The petition is the special prosecutor. And I'll be on the special prosecutor every day. Because he needs to open investigations now. If he needs more information, I can give him. We all need to come together and save this nation. These people are criminals. These people have to go to jail. Mustapha Hamid, Jake Amwa, they are dangerous people. The president knows them. If he's smart, he will fire Mustapha and fire this guy now. If Akufo-Addo is not a criminal, he will fire Mustapha Hamid. The board itself wants Mustapha Hamid to be fired because they are also in a big, hot problem. He has done an illegality that they are even struggling to defend by appointing two people as illegal CEOs. Now, over $300 million contract under their nose, they have been ignored. Kwame Sefakai knows this I'm talking about. If the president is not a criminal, if the vice president is not a thief, if he is not part of this crime, he should tell the special prosecutor he will first fire Mustapha Hamid. How can you sign a contract worth $300 million without going through board? It makes ABAJ's crime look tiny. A month, we have to pay over $12 million to this company. You alone. Aden, Bonnie Benny Aye Ghana for. Bonnie Benny Aye Ekufuado MPP. What did we do wrong here? What did we do? Ladies and gentlemen, I've come out with my facts. If there's anyone in Ghana who is a journalist who says whatever I'm saying here is a lie, you should come and disprove me. But say, those paid journalists on TV, Adum FM, Multimedia, Asempa FM, Paul Adomoche, Kwame Sefa-Kain, or Equia Pocky, some kwasi for way to their own pay, their own salary, no. Me person nipa bako eba eka said this never happened. Mustapha Hamid has not signed any contract. Some board members are willing to speak. Where this thing will go, you people will be shocked. Mr. Monday, I will come and show you documents of Bagomia office, how they are separately taking taxes. I'm not just going to come say it. I will come and show you documents. When I sit here and I tell you MPP should leave power, I have a reason. I don't hate anybody. These people are dangerous to our country. When I sit here and I insult and I criticize, I am angry, I am hurt because some few people think we are mad. Yeah, Jimmy. We have a minister sitting in America slanging and insulting the ordinary Ghanaian, paying taxes to feed her madness. And we have a member of parliament defending that. You think I should be happy and smile about that? We should not be foolish. People need to go to jail. People need to be fired. We have to all come together, change this government, and recalibrate the system by teaching politicians a lesson. So that next time, somebody will understand where they belong. If the president is intelligent, if he's not a very foolish man, he will fire Mustapha Hamid Monday. Unless the president is very foolish. We know he's a criminal. Unless he does not care about this nation. One family for time no day for a big agege girls. Hello, caller. Hello. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, Bacho Kasa.
Yeah, Bacho Kasa.
Kevin from Samim.
Sami Kasa.
May I acquaint Mamincha Mustapha or Elmina Estate. Na Kevin was Mumba Bado. Kevin, say Shamaloko Ghana on your cry because Prince say a number say or say finity. Say Nambia Bassay or say fin. Angason or Tina so one. I don't know what I see your man into 1 hour 1 hour son or so. What I say, Kevin, but the master baby, Kevin Pocho, mentioned that being FM one issue no at the Kebio. Being FM one issue no. Mentioned that the Kebio, mentioned Pocho.
Which one?
Mr.
Which one?
My boys and walk up a journalist or studio.
Oh yeah. That story. Yeah.
I'm not caught into
Marty. All right. Thank you. I'll look into it. But that's it. Thank you very much. Okay. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello, Kevin.
Yeah. Good evening, boss. Go ahead.
Good evening. Na public.
Divya Boko.
Bolivia ni horma. Kevin, unim. The echo sunya biano me adeba kwa mekanse. Blame Nabia, Medema, ye NDC for no Mugu Parliament one, especially Muntakari, so-called leaders no Mugu Parliament one, because Yetia Mamekasa and say, Yeni Yaja, Amo decide when Nabia to the MP Ponya Taba, Amo Yen Shadi, you love your Mopasi, and Kay Sepa, and Kanyam Rasenka Impuka, Suma Pass and Combadia too, because Yenim and any Yaki, there's a Mundru number of at least half of the parliament. Would be passed law via now, our parliament. But yes, he led the over 136 or so, and a passing Mrano. How come in the past? Because he was gonna have any who say NDC4 MP walk out. I'm a more party abo 11 that good. But on by say NDC for no end do korum. That to mundu why mundu want the years. And you omu the best decision I'm almost have a trouble. Never an saying and a man ne yasa bet nasi I must have been predecessor. Nipan 136 what we are passing 11 me get to amana. Yet I make us saying that na yen shade. Mutaka gina hon the whole parliament in Nabia NDC full on support to address our parliament.
MPP for Krankas and support Ajasafo. MPP for no. Exactly. Yeah, people want to support Ajasafo. Muntakana and him so dino on a yes age man.
On a jetum, I'm going to tell you support Ajasafo. 11 years passing in Nabia and it's by a month or one. But me, to me who's on a GSM, I must have 11 years. To come on better abandon or the island one to community. On the side, because ombe kululu so yenji to
muntaka kwa diska no ababejina mama ja to me true but as boss
obeji
let sure all right thank you muntaka de ono de ono krom for hello caller hello all right my man submit to my file this side now I think it's a 1 or 2 calls okay hello caller
Basu.
Sako Kasa.
Basu bibi abako.
Ain.
Wallahi tallahi we will rescue this country. Wallahi tallahi.
You have to.
We will rescue this. We will rescue this country. Wallahi tallahi. Basu, me what can you say? Crime have slow expanded. One say, omu yesen, omu show me chirukura.
No.
When tin almost 11 by force no because it's can almost the bia nyama bo ekoso enam we montiwo sika na o se omu fande adwuma na ye ho ntoye nu omu paaki sika no minim ade amafo se kura wukọ sika bi ya nhwehwemu wo yesi auction die ye auction wo Ghana ne nyina ofurata si yemfa bendu ni table so they say auctioneers kura esu boja ade kiti kura amafo benya bibi kitwa no ofurata si yemfa ne nyina brand office ambition as a bio.
Thank you, Sako. But I say, thank you, Sako. We will look into that. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Kevin.
Hey, Watara. What are you saying?
Alhamdulillah, Kevin. Sabi Yaboko. Last week, so me ko boase for some mention pao.
Michia Dodo. Michia
Dodo.
Jibrin.
Me hu shaba me hu ya friend said Dodo de me hu Dodo ubo Dodo di endo na me kai no me re fini kura so many years.
So Michia Jibrin. Me friend Jibrin, me friend Dodo, me ni obi abekasa.
Zamo okay on mete wonderful on mete. Kevin and be your friend say muntaka issue me pesa me kan obi because me na me tuma ba me imagine it from mo. Yakubu Toniedu endo akra menini share menini nkomo a serial caller mesumi a serial caller in a serial caller but sometimes Yakubu Toniedu yemfa ewo empendi agrosa ubeku ni pa sabe odi to so no me friend no me pesa me friend no but e dey amabo be catch won odi politics see that say your friend say Mr. Catheral on chena dey on so na yin no but entini ba muntaka obi apenasem Embase by your mamin tell me Yakubu Toniedu or Ghana or a friend there on new lending. But that's not the obey attack you be said obey no sabi. Take a deal of a chair. Into any national face Yakubu Sadiano any question of the year politics because Obiano or friends say or payment canas or Tamuntacobia and here they pay and this year in a session so benchina ni nipa kuncho ba kase no onyi sade no impro no na kina sandi before so mo kwakoto aba ye de ebie ni wo post na omunye no ayo de we about me 20-something% alanche mantiti mi nya sa no and share want to me obetwahe 200 million na ochicha teacher santere what you each delegate 200 million when you start getting free farm tema want to me what couple the TNP before come go to tomatoes our first day 24 days today 10 baku 4 10 Ghana cedi but even like 20
Thank you, Atara. Thank you. All right, thank you very much for being part of today's show.